Imagine being saved from a plane crash, a poisoning, and an armed robbery, all by someone who is already dead. Today, we're looking at a story where a man's kindness to a stranger comes back to protect him from the grave. You won't believe the twisted way this spirit reveals his closest friends as his worst enemies. The movie opens in a frantic hospital room where doctors are desperately performing CPR on a young girl named Janet. But it's too late. The lead doctor delivers the soul-crushing news to her mother. Her only daughter is gone. Devastated and refusing to accept reality, the mother snatches Janet's lifeless body and sprints out of the hospital, fleeing to her home. Meanwhile, we meet Udoka, a successful man preparing for an international trip. He's got everything ready, including his passport, but as he sleeps, Janet's spirit appears. She quietly takes his passport and hides it. The next morning, Udoka is panicking. He looks everywhere, but his passport has vanished into thin air. While searching under the couch downstairs, Janet's spirit appears again. This time, she strikes him, knocking Udoka unconscious. Why is a ghost attacking the man she's supposed to be protecting? Stay tuned, because this attack is actually the only reason he's still breathing. Across town, Janet's mother is locked in her house with the body, praying with a ferocity that terrifies the neighbours. She's speaking in tongues, begging God for a miracle. The neighbours knock, desperate to get in, but she shuts the world out, clinging to her daughter's cold hand. Udoka finally wakes up to a phone call from a friend who drops a literal bombshell, and the plane Udoka was supposed to be on just crashed. Every single passenger is dead. Udoka is shaken to his core. He was saved by a robbery. Suddenly, he looks at his table, and there it is. His passport has reappeared. Realising God saved his life, Udoka immediately donates $20 million to the church to help the poor. But his luck with people is about to run out. He brings a woman home for the night, but she isn't looking for romance. She's armed with powerful charms. She sprays a mist in Udoka's face, sending him into a supernatural coma so she can rob him blind. She does the same to the watchman. She's about to escape with a bag full of gold and cash, but she forgot one thing. Janet is watching. Janet's spirit appears and delivers a spiritual slap so hard it interrupts the spell. She wakes up the watchman, who catches the lady red-handed with the boss's jewellery and money. The police are called, and the girl is hauled off to jail. While Janet's mother continues her tearful vigil, Udoka decides to visit his village. As he drives in, a local mother stops him, showering him with fake praise about his success. But as she admires his car, she's actually planting deadly charms on the wheels to cause a fatal accident. Janet's spirit intervenes again, wiping away the dark magic. She then slaps the jealous woman and strikes her blind on the spot. Terrified, the woman confesses to the whole village that she wanted Udoka dead out of pure envy. Udoka is horrified. Even in his hometown, people want him in a coffin. Udoka then visits his uncle to buy a small piece of land. His uncle acts incredibly kind, saying, "You are my son, I won't sell it, I'll give it to you for free." To celebrate, he pours Udoka a drink. But wait, as he pours, he slips a curse into the glass. Just as Udoka is about to sip the poison, Janet appears and knocks the glass from his hand. As it shatters, a living tortoise crawls out of the spilled wine. Janet slaps the uncle, forcing a confession. He was greedy and hated Udoka for mocking him by being successful, while the uncle had no son. Udoka leans into his faith, praying daily, while Janet's mother enters a deep fast, crying out to God to breathe life back into her daughter's corpse. Strange things start happening at Udoka's house. He wakes up to find fresh food on the table. He thanks his watchman for the extra mile, but the watchman looks at him like he's crazy. Back at the mother's house, the neighbours are terrified. The smell of decay is beginning to spread. They call the landlord, who happens to be a pastor, to break down the door. Meanwhile, at Udoka's, Janet is busy. She's cleaning the floors, washing the dishes, and ironing his clothes while he's at work. Udoka and his business partner just closed a massive deal. Even though Udoka did most of the work, he generously offers his friend a 50-50 split. The friend acts grateful, but greed is a silent killer. When Udoka gets home to find his clothes perfectly ironed, he tries to give his watchman a raise as a thank you. The watchman finally speaks up. "Boss, I have never stepped foot in your kitchen. I thought you were the one cooking." If it's not the watchman and it's not Udoka, who is living in the house? The next day, Udoka's car is swarmed by armed robbers. They open fire at point-blank range, but the bullets literally bounce off him. The robbers flee in terror, telling their boss, Udoka's friend, that the man is protected by a powerful spirit. Yes, his own partner tried to have him assassinated for the profit. As Udoka wonders why he's invincible, Janet finally reveals herself to him. She tells him he is a good person and the world needs him. She reminds him of his birthday when he donated money to a hospital. That money paid for a surgery for a poor girl. It was her. She didn't survive, but his kindness earned him a guardian angel. She warns him, never stop praying and never trust blindly because the world is an evil place. She adds that she has found peace and her soul will rest, but she has one final request for him to keep being kind. Just then, the friend arrives with a bottle of poisoned drink, claiming he was away visiting his sick mother. When Udoka steps away to take a call, the friend prepares the poison, but Janet freezes him in time. Udoka returns to find his friend frozen in the act of poisoning him. Janet forces the friend to confess everything: the robbers, the greed, the betrayal. Udoka, heartbroken that his 50-50 partner would kill him over a deal where he only invested 30%, calls the police. Janet tells him her work is done and says goodbye, warning him to be careful with people. The climax reaches the mother's house. The pastor breaks the door down. The police are loading Janet's body into a van when the mother lets out one final desperate prayer. The atmosphere shifts. The pastor joins in. Suddenly, after minutes of intense prayer, Janet opens her eyes. She's back from the dead. One day, as Janet and her mother are walking, a car stops in front of them. It's Udoka. He recognizes Janet instantly, even though she doesn't recognize him. Her mother, however, remembers him as the man who paid the medical bills. Udoka decides to take full responsibility for Janet, from her school fees to everything she needs. Over the next 3 months, their bond grows until they are standing at the altar, celebrating a beautiful wedding. Talk about a match made in heaven, literally.